Hi guys, it's Carrie, and I'm here just to do a real quick video, kind of a Q&A that I've gotten for my prayer binder. So I just wanted to answer a few of those questions and show you. I also have a blog post where I've written a little bit more detail, but I thought this might help in addition to that. So the first question I got is, do I write prayers for each person in my prayer binder and then include those prayers? So this is my prayer binder, and it's one I got from Staples. And I like it because it's kind of heavy duty with this rubber edge. And it's been updated and changed from the post that I have on my blog on setting up your own prayer binder. But that's good because it shows that this is like a work in progress, and yours will be different than mine, and yours will be different than the tutorial that I have on my blog. So that's good because we all have different things in our lives and pray different ways. But I just wanted to show you this new one that I got that I really like. So do I write my prayers? I'm going to show you one of my son's pages here, and the answer is no. I don't write prayers out word for word. But what I do is write out like little snippets of verses or thoughts that I have, things to remind me how to pray. The next question I get is, how do I divide my husband's and kids section? So this kind of goes along with that. So on Mondays, I'm praying for this son as a follower of Christ. And I just cut little tabs on the tops of each of these regular sheets of paper. So while I don't write specific prayers word for word out, I do have these little things that I've thought of, maybe things that he's dealing with, things that I've read in the Bible that refer to this theme of what I'm praying. So that's how I divide the sections up, and each son has his own section, and my husband and I have one also. So I divide them up by days of the week, Monday through Friday, and then by themes. So Monday, I'm praying for him as a Christ follower. Tuesday, I'm praying for his self-discipline. Wednesday, for his purity. Thursday, for his future. And Friday, for him as a student. And then I just have some thoughts and stuff that I've written there. So, I don't write the prayers out. And I don't even really write full verses out. It's just thoughts that I've thought of over the times while I'm praying for them. Not saying that that's right or wrong, that's just what I do. And then I divide their sections up like that. Do I find it easier to use a binder rather than a notebook or journal? And yes, the answer to that one is definitely yes. I've had a notebook. I tried to do like a bullet journal style prayer notebook, and it just got messy and overwhelming. And then I felt stressed out, and like I was forgetting things that I needed to pray for, and where do I find that? And it's not on this page, it's like 5 pages over. It was just overwhelming. So I like this because I can take pages out and I can put new pages in, and I have the sections tabbed, and this works much better for me. And then somebody said, what about if the binder is expensive? This little binder is a half-size binder, and it was more on the spendy side. I think it was, I can't even remember. I'm saying $8 to $12 at Staples. But you can get full-size binders at Goodwill for, here, I'm going to grab one here, 99 cents or less. So this is a full-size binder here. So this is it's half-size this way. This is a little longer than half because it's a little bit more expensive one. But these little cheapies you can find at Goodwill, those are great. Just start setting one up and then save up, or maybe you'll like the full-size binder because you do have, it becomes less thick because you have more room to write on your pages. Okay, do you pray through the whole binder every day? And if so, how long does it typically take you? So I don't always pray through the whole binder. Some days I am in a hurry. Some days I do those little arrow prayers where I don't even get to my binder, where I just wake up in the morning. Lord, I've got 1,000 things to do today. Please help me to focus on you. Some days I'm running short on time, and I may just flip to my others, this is like prayer for others sections. Or I may flip to, if one of my sons is going through a trial or my husband, just flip to their sections and pray for them. But if I have the time, I like to do a prayer through the whole binder. But again, it could take, if I'm going through every single page in here, we're talking like hours, right? So what I tend to do instead is I have an app that I have, and I'll show you here. It's called 3030, and I have a link for it on my blog post where you can find it. It's, whoops, my battery's low. It's this one right here, this 3030 app. And when you open it up, you can set a timer for however long you want. So I have my 32 minutes in prayer, which is actually down to 22 now. But what this is praying for each of these sections, each of these tabs for 2 minutes, or a minute and a half, or a minute. You can set it for however long you want, and then it just repeats, and so it beeps. Excuse me. It beeps every minute, or however long you set it. And then you're done with that section, and you turn to the next. Done with that section, turn to the next. And you keep going through it like that. So that's how I do it to avoid praying for hours and hours, although that would be ideal if I lived on my tropical island, but I don't. So that's hugely helpful. And you can also just get a kitchen timer and, wind it up for a minute or two every time. The dollar store also has little timers that will work too. Let's see, I'm looking at the next question here. Do you write out your confessions or prayers in the confession section? This is a great question. So this is my confession section, and I have a tab here for it, and then on the back I've laminated it. I have like all these post-its that I change out. So they're quotes that I've read, things that have convicted me, and then these are questions I ask. So no, I do not write out my confessions word for word every day. In fact, I can flip through here because there is nothing. Because I was doing that and found that 6 months or a year later, I'm still struggling with the same sins. And I've realized now that some of these are going to be lifelong struggles. And it's discouraging when I get to hear and say, oh, look, 2 years ago, I was in the exact same, I was fighting this exact same thing. While my struggle changes and, maybe it may not be as big of a fight now as it was then, it's still, some of these things are still always going to be an issue until Christ brings me home. So rather than that, I'm just reviewing the last 24 hours, and it's only the last 24 hours. I am not digging up stuff, grievous sins that I've committed 10, 20 years ago. I am reviewing those I've repented of, those I've, been changed and forgiven for. So when those come up, I thank God that He has forgiven me for those. And I just go right back to the last 24 hours. So these are some questions that I ask myself. These are some quotes that I ask myself. Then some verses assuring me, that this is, I must deny myself. The fruit of the Spirit. Some more quotes. And then this one, 1 John, just to remind me that He is faithful to forgive us. So, no, I do not write my confessions out every day. Let's see. What about when you had little children? Did you pray like this then? So, no. No, I did not. This, when I had kids, this was just survival when they were little, toddlers, and even, into junior high school. But what I would do instead, if I could go back, I really wish that I would have had this. But if you're in the midst of toddlers, don't feel like I've got to set this binder up to start praying correctly. Because they're, the arrow prayers, the short prayers, the prayers in, the 5 minutes that you have between nursing and doing laundry, those prayers are just as effective. Always strive for more, but don't stress yourself out. Do what you can with what you have and always strive for better. So if I were in that time again, I think what I would do is focus more on like a prayer sheet and just having a sheet that you could go through. Okay, this is, I'd probably still put these same sections: praise, rest, confession, and then for yourself, petition, and then for the others and your family members. And then these sections here, honestly, when I was in that stage, I probably wouldn't have even had time to pray for these additional sections. This is my Monday, I pray for church, Tuesday for missions, Wednesday for military, Thursday for our nation, and Friday for the world. So if you had time, then that would be great. But again, this would just be on a sheet of paper, and I'd probably fill it out like once a week and put under each of these sections something that I'm praying for. I probably would not have this in because just having my family and myself would be enough. But I would be sure to end with reflection and thanksgiving. The reflection section, that's just, I ask myself again, how do I prioritize? How's Satan going to try to mess with me? Where am I missing God's best? So maybe I would put like one of these questions on that sheet, and then Thanksgiving, I would be sure to have a section at the bottom of your page where you can just write what you're thankful for. So that's what I would do for that. Okay, then somebody asked, I'd love to have my own prayer binder, but where would I even start? So again, I have a tab on my blog, stonesoupfor5.com, and the tab is tutorials. And if you go to that tab, you'll see step by step how I set my first prayer binder up, and that'll at least give you like a skeleton, a framework to work with, and then you can go from there. So the last question I have today is, how do I get it to all fit? Well, I don't. So you can see it's really tight in there. And when I'm flipping through this, you can see that I have a hard time sometimes turning the pages. So every once in a while, I will go through here. Ideally, I would do this like every quarter. I would go through here and then take some pages out, like especially when I'm going through here and I've seen this page so many times that I don't really pray for it anymore. I just kind of, I flip through it. Those pages I would take out and I would set into, I got another cheap binder. I don't have it right here, but it's like $1 spot binder from Target, and it's just thick card, and it doesn't have pockets. It's just got the rings. I got one of those to just archive my stuff in. I'm not quite sure that I love it because it's filling up too. I'm not quite sure that I need to keep everything because I really hate clutter, but I haven't had the time or thought to go through it yet, so I may change that. But as for now, it's working, and it keeps this so at least I can turn the pages, kind of. So anyway, that's my prayer binder Q&A. If you have any more questions, please put them on this video on the comments, and I will do another Q&A when I get enough questions. So add those, anything you'd like to see. If you'd like me to do like a flip through or whatever, just let me know, and I will get one up there. Thanks.